34-year-old Jessica Beauvais of Long Island has been convicted of a hit-and-run death of an NYPD detective. Okay, she has been sentenced to 27 years in prison with the opportunity of parole after 22 and 3/4 years. Okay, I want to talk about this situation. This happened back in 2021, where she struck and unalived an NYPD officer. And now, just recently, I see the news yesterday that this young woman has been sentenced to upwards of 27 years in prison. Okay, I want to give my thoughts. Before I do so, I want to welcome everybody to the channel. This your boy Get a Mic. All right, much love, peace, and blessings to everybody checking into the video. You guys know how we do. It's a fairly new channel, so if you guys are new here, I invite you to subscribe, like the video, share it, all that good stuff. Bell icon, y'all know what it is. But anyway, let's get right into this little situation here where a couple of articles here I want to get into.
The family of 32-year-old Jessica Beauvais silently supported her in court Tuesday, where she was arraigned on a slew of charges that include second-degree aggravated manslaughter and operating a motor vehicle under the influence of drugs or alcohol. This just 20 hours after police say she hit and killed 43-year-old police officer Anastasios Tsakos, a 14-year veteran of the NYPD's Highway Patrol Unit and a father of two.
They will never see their father again, because somebody did the wrong thing.
Just after midnight, NYPD officers responded to a deadly car crash on the Long Island Expressway ramp to the Clearview Expressway. Police say a car carrying 4 people slammed into a concrete wall and burst into flames. At least one person died. As police were investigating, Officer Tsakos was directing traffic around the scene. Just after 2 a.m., prosecutors allege Beauvais was speeding on the LIE when she allegedly struck Officer Tsakos, catapulting him into the air.
Police officer.
All right, so I want to get into it a little bit. I want to give a little bit of context if you guys don't know what's going on here. This young woman that did this is actually was, excuse me, a podcaster, okay? And I want to show you guys this clip. Let me see if I can rewind this. I want to show you guys this clip of what she basically said in her podcast right before this whole incident happened. So check this out.
With that being said, I will see you guys next. Oh, lost my earring. I will see you guys next Monday at 6:30 p.m. back here on Face Reality Radio on the Instagram and on the Facebook. And until then, fuck the police. Fuck.
Wow.
Police.
Wow.
Fuck the on the Instagram and on the Facebook. And until then, fuck the police. Fuck.
Wow. And just 2 hours after this podcast, this woman ran into a roadblock kind of situation where the cops were directing traffic, and she ran and struck a detective and then ran from the cops, crashed into the barricade, car caught on fire. And now this happened in 2021, but now she's actually been sentenced, and the wife of that officer basically has, spoke in court and all of this. And it was just a bad situation for this young lady. And I kind of want to, give my thoughts on the situation as it pertains to being careful what you say with your mouth, because people don't understand that words have a certain level of power to it. Okay, you ever hear people say that whatever you speak of is going to manifest, and I think in this situation that's what happened. Okay, she had this little persona that she was doing, and she was basically acting, I guess supposed to be like woke culture, or doing it for the culture, and had that type of podcast where she's on some black power, which is nothing wrong with supporting the brothers and sisters, which I do as well. But I think she took it to a level to where it consumed her. Okay, and she's drinking, smoking, whatever she's smoking, and then you leave the podcast and you get out there on the road and you start swerving and going crazy while you drunk, just not a good look, okay? And it's one of those situations where it's like you have to be extremely careful with the stuff that you do in this earth, because it's all gonna have some sort of consequence to it. Anything we do is gonna have a consequence to it. And now you got these white folks out here in the government and in the law enforcement, and you got the jury there, and you got everybody there, and you know good and well they're gonna throw the book at you. They're gonna make an example out of you. And I think that's exactly what happened to this young lady. Check this out.
Officer who died saving other police officers. His partner yelled out, and other police officers were able to get out of the way.
Prosecutors claim Beauvais kept driving, dragging a safety cone with her windshield shattered past several exits before turning off on Horace Harding Expressway, where her car jumped the curb and police surrounded her. Prosecutors allege Beauvais' car backed up, hitting a police car behind her twice before coming to a stop. That's when she was arrested. Prosecutors claim police body cam captured her asking an officer, quote, "What did I do?" Police say Beauvais' blood alcohol content was twice the legal limit. She was driving with a suspended license and has a history of traffic violations, though this is her first arrest. Beauvais had been hosting a podcast under the name Phoenix Michelle, which streamed live on Facebook for about 2 hours before the accident.
I'm sorry that I hit him out of his head.
Wow. This is not funny, man. I'm laughing, but it's really not a real laugh, because it's just one of them situations to where we got to be smarter, y'all. We got to be smarter. We got to think things through in our lives, man. This is a quick heads up to let everybody know that every action has a reaction, and whatever we say out of our mouths, a lot of times is going to come to pass. That's why I always try to tell people that it's always important to speak positivity. Speak the things you want to see come forth. If you want to be successful, tell yourself, I'm going to be successful, and say it out loud. But that's why it's very important, because life and death can all come from your mouth. Anything you say can a lot of times come to pass. That's why I always tell people to speak positively, speak life, speak good things. I'm going to be successful. The world is going to know my name. Things of that nature, right? I'm gonna be rich one day. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna be determined. I'm gonna be consistent. All of those types of things, it is good to speak out, because a lot of times what we say ends up coming to pass. You know what I mean? Hold on, let me see here. And in her case, it was the absolute opposite. Okay, she sat forth into the camera and said "F the police" twice. Okay. And for some reason, the way the world works, the way this thing works, I don't understand it, but I know what happens. And when you speak things and you put that energy out into the atmosphere, 9 times out of 10, that kind of stuff is going to come to pass. Excuse me. So let me see here. I want to see if I can play this video right here. Pretty sure I'm going to probably get an advertisement first, but I don't know if you guys can see this particular picture. This shows the courtroom that she was in, and just it's full of police officers. All the officers showed up to make sure this girl get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Let me see here. Okay, so we still got some time over there. So here's the car, okay, that she was driving and crashed into the officer coming from the podcast. This is her in court, looks like recently, which would be 2 years from the incident. So she doesn't even look the same. She done picked up some weight, got a little bit more fat on her face, thighs look a little thicker than before. So she been in jail, just sitting down, chilling, eating. All right, so do we got to stay here for this? Let me see. Okay. We got to stay here and let that advertisement go. But yeah, man, this is just, it's a lesson to be looked at, man. You got to be extremely careful with the stuff that we do out here, man, because you can get in big trouble. And she's in big trouble. You hear me?
My mind and real.
When they get them white ladies up there laughing, not laughing, when they get them white ladies up there crying, and they get to talking about their children and their husband and how he was a hero and all that, you going to jail.
Until the thought of our children came to my mind and realized I now have to go home and tell my babies that their dad, their favorite person, was gone.
The widow of an NYPD detective killed by a drunk driver pleads for justice at the sentencing for that driver today. And good evening to you. At 6 o'clock, I'm Liz Chow.
And I'm Bill Ritter. Jessica Beauvais will spend at least 22 years in prison for the crash that killed an NYPD officer on the Long Island Expressway. The family and friends of Detective Anastasios Tsakos packed the courtroom today for the sentencing.
Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Carlo is live at Queens Criminal.
Yo, she is in so much trouble. You hear me? I mean, that is exactly what you do not do. You have to be mindful when you're out here on the street. You got to drive correctly. You got to act like you got some sense. Don't be drinking and driving, guys. Don't do it. It's not worth it, because all it takes is for a split second something to happen and you can be in big trouble. And 9 times out of 10, if you do the right thing, a lot of times it'll go well with you. And in her situation, after she did this, she ended up fleeing the scene, which made the whole situation a lot worse. Okay, imagine if she would have got out of her car and went to go try to help the officer, right? Got out of her car, went to help the officer, called 911, stayed with the officer to make sure he was okay. Just imagine how much different that would have looked in the courtroom than you fleeing the scene, running and crashing into other barricades down the road and getting surrounded by the police after what you just said. They heard what she said. They heard her, they heard it, and they played it in the courtroom, okay? This little situation right here was played in the courtroom in front of the jury.
Back here on Face Reality Radio, on the Instagram and on the Facebook. And until then, fuck the police. Fuck them.
They played that in the courtroom, y'all, with all of those police officers in there. Did y'all see the amount of police officers that was in that room? Packed the house. They packed the house, man.
Packed the courtroom today for the Senate. Insane.
I wonder why this is going dark, but you guys can see it. All of his fellow police officers in there packed the house, and they played that in the courtroom. So that's another situation where it's good and very important to make sure we be careful of the things we say, because things will and can be used against you in the court if you get yourself in some sort of trouble. So, like I said before,
Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Carlo is live at Queens Criminal Court in Kew Gardens with our lead story tonight. Anthony.
And Liz, Bill, that courtroom was packed.
let me speed past this.
That broke me.
Words Irene Tsakos has wanted to say to Jessica Beauvais ever since she killed her husband, Detective Anastasios.
And their dad, their favorite person, was gone. That broke me.
Words Irene Tsakos has wanted to.
Man, see, that's one of them situations, man. Like I said before, in these types of situations where you get out here in the public and you out here on these public roads, you got to be extremely careful what you do, because you're under some sort of authority. Whether we agree with it, disagree with it, it's there. It's in place. We can't do nothing about it. And a lot of times we know in this country, in the United States of America, you get them white ladies in court and they get to crying and they get to blaming you. Your behind is going under the jail. You hear me? You are going under the jail. So this is something I want to keep in everybody's mind, to be careful what you do. Do everything with integrity. Do the right thing, and then you'll be able to live a good and prosperous life. That's all I pretty much got for this video. We'll probably talk more about it later if we know more. But this is a situation where it's a learning tool. We got to be careful what we do, and we got to live the right way, do the right thing, man. We'll be blessed, man. So much love, peace, and blessings to everybody checking into the video. This your boy, Get a Mic. I'm out of here like last year, y'all. Peace out.